I was just wondering, how many of you all think, like, when when the new year comes in, it's like, okay, I'm wondering what this year gonna be about. Or sometimes you can kind of feel, you know, sometimes you can feel it's gonna be a better year because you did a lot of preparation, or you did some really deep inside work with yourself, or you just, it don't have to be about inner work. You just got organized last year, so now you just have a better feeling of what this year is going to be about, and it's like, now I know how to accomplish or get where I need to be. It didn't happen last year, but you like, okay, it's going to happen. But you just have that feeling. My name is Desiree, and I tell you, for me, I've been doing a lot of inner healing work, and I've been doing a lot of cleaning around my house and trying to declutter. The thing is when I had several incidents that happened in my family circle, it just led me to start doing some research and looking, and I really started understanding how, I didn't even know this. I started understanding how each year has a different energy. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. It's never heard of it before, but it makes sense. And it was very interesting because the year that I was in, um, it was the energy of pretty much preparing, getting myself straight, and doing some soul searching, and looking inside myself. And I was like, wow, like, I was there, but no, I was there. And I was like, okay, so this is why these particular challenges came, because they had to come up. And a lot of times we are looking and we're thinking, or we get so caught up in the hurt and the pain that we can't understand what the lesson is. But I tell you, when it came up, I was like, you know what? I had gotten to my tide point. And I was like, God, please show me. Like, I cannot do this anymore. And God showed me, spoke to me Sunday sermon, that somebody was doing a Sunday sermon. And then I'm a dreamer, so I had several dreams coming. And I was like, oh my God. For me, not in this video, I'm not going to get that deep with it, but for me, it was showing me of the repeating patterns in my family. When I'm talking about, like, grandmother, my mom, myself, and my daughter. And we can even go a generation back because, my grandmother's mom. They didn't have the best relationship because, times were hard, and it's like, we got to work. We got, sun come up, we got to work. Sun going down, we got to go to sleep. Nobody has time for talking and communicating. So my grandmother was like, they didn't have the best, relationship because, they were working all the time. Now, I remember my mom and my grandmother getting along really well in the kitchen. They did very well in the kitchen. Once they stepped out of the kitchen, it was a lot of friction. And my grandmother said she had apologized, but my mom was having a hard time in forgiving. And a lot of times, especially when it comes to African American families, we do not believe in any kind of counseling. So that was not even up on the table. And then grandmother passed, and I'm leaving some things out because, y'all will let me know if you want me to talk about this or that. But then I noticed with my mom, then our relationship wasn't good. A lot of abuse going there. That's because my mom was angry at, a lot of people and things that happened to her family. So I became the punching bag. And I'm so happy to say that I've forgiven her, and she's like my guardian angel. Um, then I started noticing that my daughter and I started noticing some things, but I was like, you're trying to fix it along the way. But if you are operating in the same way that your family has been operating, then you don't know any other way how to operate different unless you start doing some searching. And I tell you, when I cried out to God, He helped me. He helped me to see the family the repeating patterns in the family. And I'm going to leave y'all with this because I don't want to stay on here long. Because I started a series called The Soul Timeline. It's a 7-part series. It's on the short videos on YouTube. And I'm probably going to put the link here because I want you to find out what your year energy number is. But I'm going to tell you the biggest thing that I can tell you, and we hear this all the time, but it doesn't hit the place where it needs to hit. But the thing is, if you are looking and praying for an answer because things are just not working, especially in your family, things are not, you can't fix it. You done cried about it, you done prayed about it, you done tried to cook everybody their favorite meal, and it's just not being fixed. Y'all, I'm going to talk more on this. God gave me the answer, and he told me, stop trying to fix everybody else, because it's so easy to see that somebody else is operating kind of crazy. But you can't talk to them and tell them that they operating crazy. The point was to fix me. And I know you're probably saying, well, I'm not the person that's, acting improper. I don't want to hold y'all long. But when I start looking at myself and I start looking at the patterns that I had inherited, from my grandmother, from my mom, and passed on to, I have 2 daughters, to my daughter, but one, we're not going to get into all that. I started seeing some things. And had I had known about it earlier, about doing some work within myself, then it would not have been passed off. I know I said but I'm going to end it right there. Because I'm going to come on here again and I'm going to talk a little bit deeper about, not per se the situation because that's irrelevant, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about the process that I took and why the soul timeline really started helping me, getting me to see some things and getting me to understand when you know what year you are sitting in, that you are operating in, that you're living in, then you can understand where you're at in life and why certain things come up. And that is the prime opportunity to be like, oh, I'm going to take care of that. Because a lot of times we run, but it's the time to face it, take care of it, move on. Because as a mother, when you heal yourself, not that you have to say anything to your children, but they start seeing a difference. And so then they start looking at some things. Or even if they don't, the energy is going to shift anyway. Because you're not operating in that place that you're upset with anybody. Look at yourself. Fix yourself. And I know you're probably saying, I don't know how to do that. Ask God. Pray to God about that. And I'm telling you, he helped me and he will help you. Love you guys.